Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I'm your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst of Touchdown Alabama magazine. As always, you guys can check out The Process every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page. As always on The Process for Thursday's episode, we want to close out each week with a strong show. Here we have another strong show as I will break down what I believe Alabama's recruiting hot streak will continue. I have some information I want to provide you guys with, some exclusive information I want to provide you guys with on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page via The Process. But before I get to all of that, I do want to hit you guys with a couple of recruiting updates. So with that being said, let's get the process started. Now I'm going to dive into the recruiting updates I wanted to provide you guys with. That's Alabama's 2021 four-star defensive back target, Terrion Arnold, recently received an offer from the University of Alabama's basketball team, so he will have the opportunity to play both basketball and football at the University of Alabama if he chooses to commit to the University of Alabama and sign with the Tide. Of course, several other schools have offered this to Arnold, and Alabama has offered this offers as far as having the chance to play both basketball and football at the next level to another prospect and five-star athlete, Quincy McKinstry, out of Pinson Valley High School in Pinson, Alabama. So Terrion Arnold will have a chance to play both sports at the next level at the University of Alabama. Alabama also is still continuing to extend offers to several 2022 prospects. One of their most recent offers went out to 2022 four-star offensive tackle Ernest Green III out of St. John Bosco High School in California. I recently caught up with them. He talked with me about his conversation with Nick Saban as well as about his conversation with Steve Sarkisian. You guys check out that article on touchdownalabama.com. The link will be in the description of this video as well. Alabama was also included in a top 11 released by 2021 four-star athlete and defensive back in Kamari Lassiter, a guy who could possibly play both sides at the next level. So Alabama was included in its top 11. I know a lot of fans are not really excited about top 11, top 14, but I think there's a good way for those guys to break down their top schools list, especially those guys with like 30 or 40 offers. A great way to start cutting down their list and narrowing down their choices. So those are a couple of recruiting updates I wanted to provide you guys with. Alabama has had a lot of success on the recruiting trail. When you look over the last month or so, as Alabama has landed verbal commitments from five-star wide receiver A.J. Hall, picking up a verbal commitment from four-star wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks, picking up a verbal commitment from three-star defensive lineman out of Montgomery, Alabama, by the way of Robert E. Lee High School, and Quinn Barnes, and most recently picking up a verbal commitment from four-star safety Kane Williams. So Alabama has a bit of some momentum building on the recruiting trail, you can say, as they continue to try to pull in some 2021 recruits. I feel that this high streak will continue because I've received some info that Alabama is expected to get a verbal commitment from one of their top targets in the 2021 recruiting class very soon. I'm not at liberty to say which target is going to be, but expect Alabama to get a verbal commitment from one of their top targets very soon. And that's a snippet that I wanted to provide you guys with exclusively on The Process. So stay updated on touchdownalabama.com. We'll continue to have updates like that as well. But another reason why I believe Alabama could possibly continue this high streak through May and possibly through June is the fact that one of the top wide receiver targets in the 2021 recruiting class, Christian Leary, is expected to announce his verbal commitment on June 6th. This is a kid who has locked in a commitment date for June 6th. Alabama has offered him a bit on the late side when you look at his commitment date. With Alabama offering him that late, they have not been able to host him since offering, especially with the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, having such a great impact on the recruiting landscape. Alabama has not been able to host Leary since offering him, but they have continued to recruit him. Alabama has virtually recruited pretty well. For guys like Leary, they have been doing virtual visits, guys that have not been able to get on campus before they were announcing the commitment, not been able to see Alabama in face-to-face contact. Alabama has been virtually recruiting, doing virtual visits, not really just having that time to just focus on talking to them. You have to go and do those virtual visits, which several schools across the nation are doing. So with Alabama not hosting Christian Leary before he's announcing his commitment on June 6th, I think that's the biggest obstacle that stands in Alabama's way as they continue to try to press for him. But if you're a wide receiver in the 2021 recruiting class, it's plenty of reasons why you could give Alabama a good look. Just looking at what Alabama has done at the wide receiver position over the last couple of years, the way they have used their wide receivers once they have a great quarterback at the helm, the way that Alabama's offense under Steve Sarkisian is really dependent on the speed of the wide receivers. And Christian Leary is a wide receiver with a lot of speed, one of the fastest wide receivers in the 2021 recruiting class, one of the fastest players overall in the 2021 recruiting class. So he definitely could fit into Alabama's scheme in terms of what Alabama likes to do with their wide receivers. But also looking at Christian Leary, looking at the fact that he is another Florida prospect. Alabama has had a lot of success with guys from Florida at the wide receiver position. It's pretty obvious going back, looking at Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and also Calvin Ridley. But you can also look at the fact that Alabama has recently signed guys from the state of Florida, pulling in Trayshawn Holden in the 2020 recruiting class, and also Dayu Jones-Bell, and they have verbal commitments from Ja'Cory Brooks and A.J. Hall. And of course, A.J. Hall is recruiting the state of Florida especially very hard, with Alabama having a lot of targets in the state of Florida in the 2021 recruiting class. And I think that A.J. Hall knows that Alabama is going after Christian Leary, and I'm pretty sure he's contacting Christian Leary as well. So Alabama is doing as much as they can to virtually recruit this kid. I think he's a kid that is giving Alabama a good look, as he posts on social media a lot, saying that he's still thinking about Alabama. He's still considering Alabama. So that is just something to think about. And one of the things that I was actually thinking about with Leary's commitment and his interest in Alabama, as far as it is concerned, I think if Alabama was able to pull in Christian Leary, I think this will be one of the more impressive things that Nick Saban has done during his time in Tuscaloosa, basically having to virtually recruit a guy completely, not getting a chance to get him on campus face to face, not getting a chance to talk with them physically face to face in his family, but getting a chance to get them to buy into what Alabama has to offer totally virtually, totally through FaceTime calls, through Zoom calls, getting his family and Christian Leary to buy in. I think that is going to be very impressive for Alabama. And if Alabama was to land Leary, the guy that I talked about earlier, I think Alabama will be in a good position in their 2021 recruiting class, especially ending this month and heading into June. I think Alabama will continue their momentum. It's still a lot of targets still on the board for Alabama, but I think that 2021 recruiting class, the base of this 2021 class, is really building for Alabama. That would do it for this episode of The Process. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe to TouchdownAlabama.com, as well as subscribing to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube. When you subscribe to TouchdownAlabama.com, you'll be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles and get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. As always, download the Touchdown Alabama app. It is located in the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama.
The Process.